We're going to solve this quadratic by completing the square. Now our goal is to get something squared on the left side and a number on the right hand side so that we can take our square roots. So our goal is really to take a square root of both sides. Well, here's how we do that. So as we're working through this one, I want to start by getting just the x's on one side. So I want the x's alone on one side. Let's go ahead and subtract that 5 then. So minus 5 minus 5. That gives us x squared plus 6x, and then I want you to leave some space. So I'm going to write plus blank is equal to, this is where we're going to complete the square, is equal to negative 5. I'm going to be adding something to this side. So whatever I add to one side, I've got to add to the other side to keep this balanced. So I'm going to go a plus blank on the other side as well. Here's how we do the completing the square. I'm going to take half of the middle coefficient. So 1/2 times 6. 6 lives up there in a numerator. Half of 6 is 3. And then I'm going to square it to complete the square. 3 squared is 9. What I've really done with x squared plus 6x plus 9 is I created a trinomial perfect square. If you don't know what that is, no big deal. We're still going to get there. I'm going to add my 9 on the other side as well, keeping this thing balanced. Okay, so this means that I have, and because I created it this way, they're super easy to factor. Other side, negative 5 plus 9, I don't want to forget that, is a 4. Super easy to factor because I know that it was an x that was squared and this 9 was squared. I can actually just look at this 3 here. So as I factor it, it's going to be an x plus 3x plus 3. Remember I said it was a perfect square? Here's the perfect square part. It's x plus 3 quantity squared is equal to 4. This is exactly the form that we want when we're completing the square, because once we're here, we can take a square root on both sides. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take a square root on both sides. If you haven't watched my video, link is below. So square root, square root. On the left-hand side, I get an x plus 3. Technically, I get plus or minus x plus 3, but that's going to live on the other side. So plus or minus, and the square root of 4 is 2. So I get some nice integers here, no fractions, no radicals left over, but I do need to subtract that 3 to get my x all by itself. Okay, so x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus 2. This is really not an acceptable form of the answer. You really need to follow through and add the 2 and subtract the 2. Let's break this into 2 separate solutions. So I've got negative 3 plus 2 and then negative 3 minus 2. So using my plus or minus there, I get those 2 different solutions. And I can just simplify this. Negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1. Negative 3 minus 2 is a negative 5, and there are our 2 solutions. Now I've got 3 really important examples for you. I want to make sure that you're prepared for all of the different examples that you could get in your homework or on the exam. Let's dive into example number 2. Okay, so in example number 2, remember you want x's on one side and all of your numbers on the other. Your goal is to get a quantity squared with your x on one side and just a number on the other side. So we're going to start by subtracting that 1. I'm really just moving it to the other side. Minus 1 minus 1. That gives me x squared minus 5x. This is ready to have the square completed, plus a blank, is equal to 0 minus 1, that's going to be negative 1, also plus a blank to keep this thing balanced. Okay, so now I've got to do half of the middle coefficient. I'm dividing that up. So half of the middle coefficient. So 1/2, the sign matters, times negative 5. I'm just going to write that as a fraction, negative 5/2. I know it's really tempting to write this instead as a decimal, but actually a fraction is going to be more helpful here. So I'm going to write this as a negative 5/2. And then I want to square this. So squared to go up on my blank. Negative squared is positive, so it's going to be 25/4. So I get 25 over 4. 25 over 4. Okay, next up is the easiest step. I'm just going to write this because I know I created something times itself. So I'm just going to write this as the quantity squared. Okay, what was squared? It was the x that was squared, and it was my negative 5 halves that was squared to get to the 25 fourths. So I really want the x and the negative 5 halves. It's tricky with the fraction, but if you're just following through really carefully, you're going to get there. So we get x minus 5 halves squared. Okay, on the other side, negative 1 plus 25 fourths. Now I'm leaving it as a fraction because I know I'm going to take a square root here in a minute. So let's rethink that negative 1 as a negative 4 over 4. Okay, why did I do that? I did that so that I can add it to the 25 fourths. But I also did it because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm just rewriting that 1. So simplifying this, everything is over 4. I get negative 4 plus 25. That numerator is a positive 21, so 21 over 4. And I haven't done anything yet with the other side. So x minus 5 halves squared. Okay, now we've got our quantity squared on the left and our number on the right. Let's just take a square root on both sides. Square root, square root. We end up with our x minus 5 halves on this side. You can think of it as the square root undoes that power 2. And on the other side, I really want to do a square root of the numerator separate from the denominator. And that's going to give me equals square root of 21, there's no perfect square in there. It's 3 times 7, so nothing to simplify. But I can do the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is a 2. Now I've got one more thing. I took a square root with a variable, so I do need that plus or minus to get our 2 solutions, but I'm so close. I am going to add the 5 over 2. So plus 5 over 2, plus 5 over 2. Here comes our solution. So I can write it as 5 halves plus or minus the square root of 21 over 2. Or if you wanted to, you can combine that into a single fraction. Everybody is over 2. 5 plus or minus radical 21. Here comes the next one. So what are you going to do first? I really want the x's by themselves on one side. So let's add that 4 to both sides. So I've got just my x terms. That's going to give us an x squared plus a 3 halves x plus blank is equal to, that's a positive 4, and I need to do that plus blank on the other side. That plus blank is what I'm using to build my perfect square. Now I do half of my middle coefficient, so 1/2 of or times 3 halves. That's going to be 3/4. And then I'm going to square that to go into that blank. So 3/4 squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. And then add the same thing on the other side. Keep that thing balanced. Okay, so we are actually ready. I could write this into something times itself, but I know it's going to be the same thing because I created it that way. And that same thing, what did I square here? I squared my x and I squared the 3/4. So I can use my work to come up with what I need for that factorization. X plus 3/4. It's like the easiest factoring ever. On the other side, though, I need to add a 4 and a 9/16. So I need to multiply that 4 by a 16 over a 16 plus 9 over 16. Okay, so just dealing with those fractions. 4 times 16 is 64 over 16 plus 9 over 16. That's going to be 64 plus 9 over 16, which is 73. So 73 over 16. Nothing changes with my quantity squared. Okay, so I had some cleaning up to do, but there we go. So I've got my quantity squared equal to my number. I'm going to do a square root on both sides. Square root on both sides. On the left-hand side, I end up with my x plus 3/4. And I know that I'm keeping fractions, and fractions are actually really nice to work with when you're doing radicals. So I'm going to keep my fraction here, but I am going to take my square root separately. So I can do a square root of 73 and a square root of 16. Now there's nothing that I can do with that square root of 73. So I'm just going to write that as the square root of 73. But in my denominator, the square root of 16 is 4. I took a square root that had a variable in it, so I do need my plus or minus as well. I'm almost to my solution. I want x by itself. So let's go ahead and subtract our 3/4. This is going to give us x is equal to negative 3/4 plus or minus radical 73 over 4. These are crazy looking answers. Or you can put this all over 4 with a negative 3 plus or minus radical 73. Here's the last one. No fractions in it. I want you to pause it and take a few minutes and work it on your own, and then catch back up with me and see how you did. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to move that 2 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract that 2, subtract that 2. I've got x squared minus 6x, and I'm ready to complete the square. So plus blank is equal to a negative 2. I need to keep that balanced, plus blank. Now we're going to do half of our middle coefficient squared. So I'm going to go 1/2 times negative 6. Negative 6 is up in that numerator. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. But I need to square it to fill in the blank. So I get a 9 on both sides and a 9. Factoring is the easiest step because of our work. It was an x that we squared and a negative 3 that we squared to get to that 9. So my factorization is x minus 3. How are you doing so far? On the other side, I've got negative 2 plus 9. Yay for no fractions. Negative 2 plus 9 is 7. Next up, I'm going to take a square root on both sides. We are almost there. Taking a square root on the left, that square root undoes my power 2. I get an x minus 3 and a plus or minus on the other side. There's nothing that I can do to simplify or take a partial square root with that 7, so I'm just going to write it as the square root of 7. Last but not least, I need to isolate that x. I'm going to add the 3 to both sides, and I get x is equal to, let's start with that positive 3, 3 plus or minus the square root of 7. Now there are other types of quadratic equations to solve. I've got a video for you right here.